Hi guys, thank you so much for seeing me, Polina here. I've had this crazy idea to do celebrity astrology because I've just had this huge calling to do something like that recently, and I would like to start with President Donald Trump because I feel he's probably the most renowned man in the world at the moment. And I'm really excited because this means that we get to know each other very well, and this also represents to me an opportunity to also get to know me, because every time I do a chart for a person, I don't just do it for them, I do it for me, because each code of a soul, each code that a soul represents is mine as well, because we are all beings and everything is one. So I'm really interested to see how I react to Trump, or how Trump reacts to me. Thank you for watching, if you are watching, Mr. President Trump, because this is an incredible opportunity, and I hope that you don't mind me opening up your world. And yeah, let's go. I have to say that at first, the first thing I do is I pick up the energy. I have to say that I don't actually know the person for astrology. I know them because they come into the room when I talk about them, or I talk to them. This means that I have to hold this person in my body as I'm doing the astrology. So I get very nervous sometimes when I have this huge light, or like a huge like a huge star energy come in. So this is one of those, and I hope that I'm holding it in my body okay, because there's just so much going on. I'm entering the details now of this person's birthday, and I'd like to first probably ask for forgiveness if there's parts of this person that don't want me to look at this chart. So the first thing I do is just to look at the retrogrades, and this person has got a Neptune retrograde and also Ceres and a Pallas retrograde. You wouldn't say so, but he does. So what he has been achieving is not the works. So the person that you're seeing now is not a burnt out person. It is a person who's not yet famous for what he's going to do. So I'm going to take a seat and invite President Trump to sit next to me. This is a very, very passionful chart. It's a passionate chart. We've got, the first thing I see is this Mars before the ascendant line. So there is something pushing this person forward, but where that push is coming from is not sometimes ideal. So with this man, there needs to be a feeling of being a man. And his wife is probably tired of telling him, but he's got to get respectable as a man first for himself before he can be respectable for other people. And this means walks on the beach. This means regular exercise, drawing, painting, whatever his father has done before his birth, and anything that his mother idealized in a man before the birth. So unless he's feeling sexy to himself, and unless he's vulnerable enough to admit that he's not yet there, things are gonna crash. There isn't another thing here. It's really, really interesting. It's just a very human thing. This person has got to admit to themselves that they're not there, because sometimes they'll have a big fire or big flame pushing them and urging them towards things. We've got Uranus right before the sun here, and the sun is in opposition to the moon. So the mother and father figures were not right. They were not right, and they could never really find the way to tell each other what they felt. We've got a really great separation there in the family as a right. It's like, I am right, I'm right, I'm right to be separate. So it's a very separatist energy, and he's got to go sometimes, and to go somewhere where nobody's gone before, just to get himself together, unless he walks. He exercises, he eats right, and he becomes more brave within himself. And it's a very, very interesting infantile energy as well. As you might have noticed, a lot of the caricatures about you, Mr. President Trump, about President Trump, Trump are very, very infantile energies. And I feel that we all pick up on this feeling of vulnerability within the person, even though we might not see it straight away. This is a baby. This is a baby because he isn't unwell. There is nothing unwell. There's nothing unwelcomed here. But there is something about this person that's got to, like Buddha, forget what he's made, forget what he's done, and he's got to walk across the line that's been drawn for him to greater prosperity. So this person otherwise can cross many lines for no reason. Like he can stand in front of people, he can close many doors and cross many boundaries, because this person wants to appear bigger than he is, more enlightened, more interesting than he is. But unless he's doing it in the physical, it's not going to work. So Mr. Trump, there is very much a need to get yourself together, to get yourself as a man together. And in that energy, you will be able to create more prosperity in your body. And I'm just seeing like Obama there, sort of in the distance. If you want to play golf, if you want to do something, if you want to go fishing, you want to do something interesting, go skiing, things like that. It's very, very good here, because it is not, how can I say, up to you to change the world unless you can really show yourself the world of you change. In order to connect yourself to the right type of power, which then evokes you into greater prosperity still, because this is not the type of chart to still. It's not a chart to wear the big hat and say, I've gotten it. And I think this is what you've done, President Trump. I feel that in a few different ways. You've connected to yourself this feeling of, I'm beyond the world, I'm the president now. But the thing is, there will be something pushing this person, and an end will never be met unless they start pushing themselves. And this means that the situation in the country can get worse. These situations that this person is in now can get a lot worse. These circumstances can get more and more scaled. Things can, and then again change. So countless changes, countless miracles are possible too here, as really good things can happen, but also it's like things escalate for the sake of escalation here, not for the sake of the greater good. So this person, President Trump, I feel, has to start seeing how they can escalate themselves. How can they maybe use the escalator less and use the stairs more? And this is not a derogatory thing. This is not a sizes thing. This is not about the body image, although this person might cover behind that strategy. Like, you know, you can't judge me, you know, who are you to judge me? But it's not about judgment. It is not about that. It's just a brave one's heart. It is a brave one's heart here. This is a hearted person. That's actually, if you believe in astrology, you might also believe in past lives, committed a lot in their life. And it feels to me that this could have been a lot of good or a lot of bad. And I'm seeing a Native American lifetime as well. So I'm seeing a person who has done a lot and has become a pinnacle or a great energy, because they've created so much change in their world. And for many, many lives, they perhaps just, you know, cut down things left, right, and center to try and find the truth and try to find the freedom. And now this person is lucky enough to be the most successful, I guess, human being in the world, as being the president of, I guess, the the biggest echo in the world, the largest voice of the world, which is the United States of America. So you are very free, Mr. President, and you got 12th house in Leo, so you've committed to a lot in the past, and you've really, really driven yourself here. But here now, as you are, you must commit further. Instead of saying, I'm the president, waving the flag, there needs to be a further commitment to yourself. In the world, there has to be, how can I say, nonsense and need for restructure. So this person doesn't just come in here with the Virgo first house and a few other things there as well, Saturn, Venus and other things, to just be. So this person isn't here to just smoke the cigar, have the glass of wine or the martini or whatever you might like, Mr. President, and just enjoy what you've done, because this is not a chart of a lavish person. And this is something that I feel we as the public don't understand, as we probably think to ourselves, this person is made for drama. This person just walks around and they fluff themselves around and they don't have any need to change anything. They just kind of sit there on their butt and they smoke their cigar and they look good, they look cool. And there is a part of it here, but that's what's missing, I feel, is that we need to start or try to understand this person is trying. And even if they're asleep, even if they're nonsense, even if there is something about this person that doesn't make sense and it looks like they're wearing a big suit over themselves, this is a Native American soul, and that's very interesting to me. It's a native, it's a beautiful native energy. So when I'm looking at the past lives, I'm seeing a very good understanding of herbs. I'm seeing a very, very neat understanding of the forest. I'm seeing a very, very good way that a person can go through the jungle for a long time and not stop. And I'm also seeing very strong hands and feet. So when I see this, I see a person that's right. That's right. But if this person calms down and relaxes and revises their life almost as somebody who is like an otter, just, you know, kind of like laying back and enjoying the spring, that's not going to work. There needs to be something about this person, I feel, that is correct, and it knows it is, but there's also got to be something about this person that pushes them forward that is correct as well. It's got to be right. It's got to be right, and it's got to be by the book. If there is any kind of lavish experience in which the person gets stuck, it rubs off on them weirdly. So wealth looks weird on you, Mr. Trump. The idea of pampering looks weird. For example, if this human being ever decided or ever devised to have facial reconstruction surgery, if they ever wanted to lose weight through liposuction, I would not advise it, because unless this person is an accident and the reconstruction is part of a way just to go forward, like a necessity, it's not going to work. So what this makes, I feel, for us as a people, having this person dominate of so much of the world, is necessity has got to be the thing. What's necessary? What's necessary? We've got to teach ourselves what is necessary and what's not really that important, because this person doesn't understand that they have to forget a lot of the things that they have designed, that they have experienced, that were out of luxury. And this is an interesting karmic fate for us, the people, and this person is one of the greatest leaders in one world order. So when I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that we're all kind of led by this person, and I know that I'm not living in America yet. I'm here in New Zealand, but there is still a connection between the American government and New Zealand government, so we are all one. So it's not like, oh, America over there with Trump. We're all with Trump. Everybody in the Western world, specifically, not many countries are not with Trump. So everybody's with Trump. And we have to understand necessity, because this is a very, very interesting timeline for us people to create this world of great abundance and great perspective and, how can I say, great wealth and great humiliation of nature. But then at the same time not see that perhaps one of our greatest leaders is a man who's actually been in nature all his life, and all the world that he's traveled, all the world that's in the unconscious mind, is a natural, physical, bountiful world before the wars, before people had hunger, before people had anything. So the soul that's come in here into this body is very pure. And I'm seeing Aztec existences, I'm seeing native existences, I'm seeing native forests, I'm seeing really beautiful things. So this person is a star person, as a star presence that's come not for nothing. And that's something that I think that we have to admit here, because we're not just looking at a human being who eats cheesecake and smokes cigars. We're actually looking for something in this person, I feel, that is not right, because I feel we as a species are not right in the way that we have decided on our governments and the way that we decided on our world. Of lavish pursuits. So what I'd like to tell you also, this is for Mr. Trump, is that you've done justice, and you didn't really know how else, because as a person who's come from a very different psyche, who lived in a very small village in a previous life, who's had very small amount of things and didn't actually have that many people around them, I feel that this time around this person has done an incredible job, because they've just been trying to see what's natural and normal for the regular person, and that which they have concentrated on has been not just for them, it's been for the greater mind. And when we're looking at you, Mr. Trump, we're not just looking at ourselves, we are looking at the greater world and what it wanted for itself and how much it craved and designed through space and time. And then we see somebody like this, and we kind of understand that this is not just you, Mr. Trump, that's created all these ideas. This is us. This is an allegory for society that we are, and for the one world order that we're under. And in a way, I suppose it's what we supported with so many lives, so many wars, so many colonizations, you know, so many schemes. It is not just you, it is all of it. So when we're looking at Trump, and this is like not a outdated look, but we wanted not to have a president, and in a sense we don't, because this person, this energy, is not above all man, you know, the man figure that kind of looks at us as a person and thinks about what to do with it all. It is a person who understands the world through nature and doesn't really understand class, it doesn't really understand money or the physicality of it all, but it does sort of kind of get it, because it just sees what is and it becomes it. It is what this person would do, I feel like, in the forest environment. It would not be led by even the feet. would be led by the trees, by the smells, by the, you know, by the singing of the birds. So whatever it looks at, it becomes it. Does it seem to me like it is a energy of something that's nervous and the energy of something that's not true? Not really, unless the person has lost themselves, and I feel they have. If you were me and if I were you, Mr. President, I would probably consider detox diets, exercise routines, any type of healing modalities of the native people of the land, and also native modalities of South America, such as ayahuasca and all these different ways to get the parasites and a flare moving in the body, and all the flow of the body will change. And it's not about getting a right surgeon, it is definitely about getting a new perspective on the world. How do we help you? Well, this is the thing, is this person, in a sense, isn't credible. But in many different ways, they don't really have a mind of their own. We've got Pluto in the 12th house, as I do as well. And this is the type of placement where the person has no body to really ask. Like, people aren't really there to ask. They kind of think that they've got to ask you. And this is a weird phenomenon. What happens here in the 12th house Pluto is that you become almost like the pinnacle of something without knowing that you are. And at the same time, there's nobody that pinnacles you, like that pinnacles over you. It's like really weird fate. It could be a scary death, you know, unless this person remembers who they are inside. But it's like everybody just says yes to this person and doesn't really say no. There's not many people that maybe even parents couldn't really understand how to treat the soul, how to control the temper, or how to really please it. So it's an uncontrollable rage. Sometimes it comes out of nowhere. It could be uncontrollable need for something, like I just need a pony, you know, that kind of thing. And it can also be something that's very strangely subdued, like looking at the war on TV and saying, oh wow, that's a lot of people dead, okay, and not really caring. And this is not, it can be unhuman, but this, how can I say, it's not to be feared and not to be distrusted, because this person has not really come here for the conversation that a lot of us have. This is a soul, this is an abundant energy that had a lot of conversations in a past life as it walked through the forest, as it taught itself with its own feet how to, you know, dig in the earth, how to understand, how to dig the toes into the earth, and how to pick up the energy from the earth. There's a lot of crazy knowledge also coming from the genetic pool. There's a lot of mystery and magic. There's a lot of madness perhaps as well, but there's also a way to see and perceive and smell and understand things that other people don't. And in the near future, I feel this can lead to a really bad situation. I feel if this person doesn't really understand that they're not here to just be, and they're more open when they're opening more to the world, they need to learn all the time. They need to ask the questions. They need to give advice too, and they need to circulate. So when I'm looking at the body from the physical perspective of the fractals, physical fractals, the lymph and the phlegm has to circulate around the body a lot through wushu, through yoga, through something, maybe not yoga, but like something that sort of helps the phlegm and the bile and all the different goopy bits in the body circulate a lot more, because this person needs to express themselves. You need to express yourself because you're holding something, Donald, inside you that is beyond what we could ever understand, especially on the land of your energetic ancestors. So this person is standing on the right land, and you know, people say, you know, this person's not really an American person, this is a very American person because their soul comes from the land. Another couple of things is not to, oh, this is harsh, this person has trusted, I feel, a lot. And in the trustful nature, I feel they've fallen for a lot of schemes, and I feel like they've fallen for a lot of things. I see car crashes, I'm sorry. I see car crashes. I see things that can be badly finished if this person doesn't learn to circulate and to really communicate and to talk with us. But they need to stop trusting so much. I feel that with trust comes great loss, as this person can't just graze. What do I mean? It's not asked for you guys to, if you are serving this person, you know, if you know this person, to give this person something and to ask for this person to be calm. It's not about sedation. This person isn't asking to be grazed. It's a different type of thing. I feel when trust comes and there's families and people and it just looks like it's just much too much, that's when bad things can happen. So family dinners, big occasions, everything's good, everybody's smiling, everybody is a politician, everybody is well to do, and celebrating the good life, the good life, like the good life of the American culture, like the good life of the American people, you know, the turkey on the table, like, you know, beautiful husband and wife, beautiful food, celebration of the placid energy, the good life, things that can come easy. You know what I mean? I'm looking at the second house here and the fourth as well. Good love, you know, good love, good high time, high quality time. Escapism and food. Escapism. I'm receiving a feeling of the smells that intoxicate, you know, alcohol that feels really good, and it's like the soul of a searcher and a struggler, kind of like being like, kind of, you know, in a really cozy energy, which then can lead to marital trauma. It can relate to a lot of really insignificant people becoming a big significant damage. So like, for example, somebody gets, you know, in a way kind of thing of this person by accident, this person might be drunk, but then that sort of carries on. So insignificant discussions, insignificant meetings, insignificant things can actually become turmoil, and also insignificant things can go wrong. So for example, if you had a car, and I would probably get them regularly checked by really good mechanics who don't trust you, Mr. President. I would probably get a man who's a bit militant and doesn't trust who you are to look at your car. Because if you have everything that is rounded and subdued and, you know, snuggly and colorful and tasty sometimes out of these situations, because they come out of the world that you don't actually trust unconsciously. Because you've come from nature, you've come from the ground, and, you know, here is the world of affluence and drama-free life where everybody gets the piece of pie. Through this energy of abundance and complete like trust in everything that you eat and everything that you smell and associate, when you trust everything completely and you ingest everything that you're given, there is a chance of rapture. So definitely get your cars checked, get all the mechanics up to scratch. Get also the notion, I would say that what was apparent to me when I first looked at this energy days ago, not the chart, but just like I just stepped into your field, Mr. Donald Trump, is that when you are looking at a place and everybody's just home, everybody's just, you know, hey, how's it going? Everybody's a smile, you know, everybody's just a kind-hearted face, there's something wrong. So if you are in a situation, if you're asked to be at a table and everybody's eating, especially anything to do with high-class dinner, Victorian culture, sophistication, you know, sophistication, everybody being very classy with their cigars and their martinis, there is something wrong. There is something like suggesting to me that things can turn, the faces of people can turn, almost like one dimension is followed by another. There is like a very fine line between dream states, and I feel that, for example, if you are in such a situation, you've been invited to a big gala, if you are Donald Trump, I would probably get rid of it. Either say, I don't want to go, or maybe even sitting at the table, somebody gives you a perfectly nice present, perfectly nice food, and saying, I don't want the food, I'm actually not hungry, is a really lucky sign here, because I feel this can prevent you from damage. So saying no to things that are nice and casual, and especially people who say, come on, trust me, honey, just relax with me, just enjoy. Women in this chart are not faithful, and I would probably even say, not just that, I feel that the woman energy, you know, the woman energy, the caricature of the grand mistress, you know, the caricature of the well-presented lady, or even perhaps the first lady or the woman in the house, is not how it is on the inside. But this person, for some reason, through their past lives, has learned that women are good. So I'm actually seeing a man in his past life having a very nice, steady relationship with a woman who, you know, would process the nuts that he would collect from the trees, or, you know, like process the plants to make medicine. So the women were not just understood, they were trusted, and they were the right hand. And there could be like a feeling of having the right hand lady, you know, like not just like a woman next to me, this is my pure and beautiful wife. Women that look really beautiful on the outside and look like the complete package and completely trusted as the like quantum feminine can sometimes be something else. So it's really nice to, for example, book this woman a sanatorium. It's a really nice time to perhaps have a look at rehab centers, also anything like that. So for example, if your wife was dominating you or connecting with you in a sense, she was dragging you, or like she was using her charm or her energy to delegate something, I would probably suggest taking some time off. It's not for everybody. This is not an archetypal thing. This is just for this chart, because it feels to me that women can pull you apart and devise for you an interesting fate. So with the feminine, in this type of chart, you can kind of see, you can kind of tell what is the type of woman that would be best. And for some reason, I'm seeing that the feminine energy that's right, or that's more interesting, is humbling, like a humbling energy. So shorter in height, fuller figured energy, anything to do with, for some reason I'm seeing pots and pans, ceramics, and I'm also seeing the ancient world of the Aztecs. And perhaps the Mayans and the ancient civilization is really ironic with the wall in Mexico and everything is ironic. But I'm seeing an old world where people, because I'm clairvoyant, so I see visions as I read. So I'm seeing this woman perhaps working with this jug, and perhaps she had it all the time. So I'm seeing like a ceramic jug that she pretty much used for everything, because people did not have a lot of things back then, and especially that family. So I'm just seeing berries, red berries from the trees, you know, like being collected into the jug, maybe being smushed about. So women who cook. We've got fourth house moon, we've got a curious moon, so women who go through the cookbooks all the time, women who eventually, a perfect woman for you, Mr. Trump, if you are still wondering, women who work with aromatherapy, women who work with native plants, women who taste and smell and feel, and they're interested in it, they want to know more about nature, and they are looking towards greater prosperity through that. So if you, for example, have a wife who is a learning shaman, like a plant-based shaman, or if you got a wife who's an aromatherapist, very good for you. And she would also teach you something greater as well, because I feel that you've always had a person next to you that would, like, say, bind your feet, you know, after like having 2-3 days in the forest, you know, looking for things. She would take care of you, you know, she would bind you up. And there's a lot of trust issues that can come out of this lifetime if the woman next to you did nothing like that, and her extent of plant herbs were just the facial creams that she used. So it is interesting, because I feel that even beyond that, I actually feel that the mother figure or the woman figure in the family has to know more about the physical world of herbs. Either she does or she doesn't understand what it is, but through smells, aromas, oils, studying about nature, studying about maybe even the zodiac, or, you know, how to apply different herbs through different cycles of the moon, like really like extensive knowledge, I feel that would give you dreams. And I actually think that that would give you a really big up and a greater trust in the world, I feel, Mr. Trump, if your wife or your child wanted to ever work with plants. I feel that this would actually, it's not pharmaceuticals, like plants, herbs, and natural minerals, everything like that. And if you don't trust the feminine, and if it sort of like becomes almost like a toxic energy, so for example, the extent of plants in the house is spray tan, you know, like, and things like that, it sort of becomes almost like an unused energy. And a wonderful woman that knows herbs, or that understands the natural smells and the chemical-free things and everything like that, I feel, next to President, would find greater insights. Like, say, if you had a woman who was a nurse, or somebody who understood the natural way of life, she would get greater release. I feel that there'd be greater DMT release, there'd be greater dopamine release. And a woman who's a natural nurturer, a herbalist, or maybe even like a psychic aromatherapist or something like that, with this man would be the happiest, one of the happiest women in the world, because she would get a lot of connection with the ancient world. And also, if she comes from the earth, so she comes from the same background, the same soul, spiritual background as him, that would be incredible. What else do you need to know? I would probably say that speaking and communion with people has to come first. And I would even say do it all the time and gather with you people that you would never, ever, ever imagine speaking to, just to get yourself vibrating light. Because if there is a certain little piece of paper with all the words on them, and that's like as soon as you're up there, you just go, okay, right, okay, Sunday school. It's like being at Sunday school, you know, just reading what's on the page. It doesn't really connect. So what happens is when the person doesn't connect, their light body sheds, or the light body becomes a different type of fractal pattern. It just becomes like a fractal that's sort of, it just it's got a buzz in it. It's got a, like almost like a chemical buzz in it. So the light that you're emitting, I'm feeling, is not true. It has to go to the next emotional level. I feel there has to be the next emotional level of who you have become and who you are. As you sort of like maybe learn to speak to us with less pretense and more kind of conversation about nothing, like nonchalant conversation with anything, about anybody, about anything. So really jump at the chance to talk to anyone, and especially don't branch out for too long. It's just like, it could be great conversations, but they could last maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and that's just it. That's what you want, because it is almost like, this is gonna sound weird, you can become the collector of souls. And this is what sometimes happens with me. So every person I talk about, every person I talk to, I collect a part of them. So this is a very important message to all astrologers out there. Be positive and be optimistic about whoever you're looking at, because as you are looking at an optimistic person in an optimistic way, you expand yourself in an optimistic way as well, because you're sort of reading for yourself at the same time as you're reading for them. And a new thing probably as well for me that I have never really considered is plateaus. And I feel with this type of energy, plateau is important, but it can't be a natural plateau unless you break through the dream that you've created. So if this person plateaus, if you plateau, and I feel like he's right in front of me, that's crazy. So Mr. Trump, if you plateau, and I feel when you actually plateau, you're one of those monolithic energies. I feel that when you hold space and suddenly there is nothing else to say and there is a plateau, because I'm experiencing this right now, it's really amazing. Thank you so much for teaching me. When you are immaculately plateaued and there is nothing else to anymore say, I would like to thank you for teaching me this actually just now. You can create a slip and slide energy which takes you further. So when you are no longer generating light for momentum, after everything's said and done, the slip and slide just takes you there. So as we walk the paths of the indigenous people that would first have to learn how to walk for a long time until the body just does it itself. And with money, with financial stuff as well, it's just like you kind of rub the sticks to make the fire, and the fire just becomes its own flame. In the same sense, I feel that the power of this presence that you have, Mr. Trump, is in the plateau as I'm looking at midheaven now, and the amount of natural strength and vulnerability and connection that you have when you've said it all and you've shed everything and you've met yourself and you fought the match, or you sweated out and you created something, and then this plateau, which may to another person as midheaven and Taurus is a confusing thing, look as if you're nowhere, as if nothing really happens. But in this nothing, in this feeling of dumb sleepiness, in this kind of dud energy, there's actually this plateau that softly and slowly, regularly, very very, very neatly shifts energy into the dimension that you want. But you do not know that you want this dimension. And I think that's the biggest secret I feel of this person, because after they create a big gain or a great change or even embarrassment, it doesn't matter how it gets there, like they shift, and then in this placid momentum, you know, in this placid motion, as one takes their hand away from the bicycle and lets the bicycle ride itself. You know, they put their feet like this and the bicycle just with the momentum ride itself. This person reaches their quantum, this quantum. And I would probably say that if you worked out, Mr. President, you'd be a priceless man. And you are already a priceless man, but really like priceless man in the heart. We already got a great heart, but you'd be very, very radical for the country and radical for the global mind. So confusing things aside, this has been an exceptional feeling reading. I really enjoyed reading for you, and I hope that you like yourself more as a person, whoever you are, who has watched this, and I hope that you like yourself more as an American, and I hope that you trust more in the grace of God. Thank you so much, and enjoy. Bye.